You should be on the lower frequency Wi-Fi. The 2.4 gigahertz would be better because it's going to have better range.
What's it all about, Alfie? Is it just for the moment we live? What's it all about when you sort it out, Alfie? Are we meant to take more than we give? Or are we meant to be kind? And if only fools are kind, Alfie, then I guess it is wise to be cruel. And if life belongs only to the strong, Alfie, what will you lend on an old golden rule? As sure as I believe there's a heaven above, Alfie, I know there's something much more, something even non-believers can believe in. I believe in love, Alfie. Without true love, we just exist. Alfie, until you find the love you've missed, you're nothing, Alfie. When you walk, let your heart lead the way, and you'll find love any day.
My soul cries out with a joyful shout that the God of my heart is great, and my spirit sings of the wondrous things that you bring to the ones who wait. You fixed your sight and your servant's plight, and my weakness you did not spurn. So from east to west shall my name be blessed, when the world be about to turn. My heart shall sing of the day you bring, that the fires of your justice burn. Wipe away all tears, for the dawn draws near, and the world is about to turn. Though I am small, my God, my all, you worked great things in me, and your mercy will last from the depths of the past to the end of the age to be. Your very name puts a proud to shame, and for those who would for you yearn, you will show your might, put the strong to flight, for the world is about to turn. My heart shall sing of the day you bring, let the fires of your justice burn. Wipe away all tears, for the dawn draws near, and the world is about to turn.
From the halls of power to the fortress tower, not a stone will be left on stone. Let the king beware, for your justice tears every tyrant from his throne. The hungry poor shall reap no more, for the food they can never earn. There are tables spread, every mouth be fed, for the world is about to turn. My heart shall sing of the day you bring, let the fires of your justice burn. Wipe away all tears, for the
from age to age, we remember who holds us fast. God's mercy must deliver us from the conqueror's rushing grasp. This saving word that our forebears heard is the promise which holds us bound. Till the spear and rod can be crushed by God, who is turning the world around. My heart shall sing of the day you bring, let the fires of your justice burn. Wipe away all tears, for the dawn draws near and the world is about to turn. My heart shall sing of the day you bring, let the fires of your justice burn. Wipe away all tears, for the dawn draws near and the world is about to turn.
Good morning. Nice to see your faces. I have been told that a number of people are self-quarantining today. It's, I guess, that season. So I'm glad that they'll be joining us online, and it's nice to see faces in the sanctuary. This is All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church, and we are gathered around covenant, not around creed. We don't have to believe the same things about ultimate outcomes in order to work together to try to make the world a little better, to treat people with differing paths and opinions respectfully. So to that end, whoever you are, whatever your age, race, origin, orientation, background, status, ability, identity, when you care to be here with us in mutual respect, you are always, always welcome. Joy, was today the day for announcement? Okay. Joy Walker has an announcement to share. The Reverend Joy Walker.
Hello. You are especially invited. You are respectfully encouraged. You are unapologetically urged to come next Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock to see the documentary, The Game Changer. This documentary is about a few athletes who had a health challenge. And they learned very quickly that all the things that they had learned before about protein was absolutely wrong. And so they were able to correct those things. This documentary is especially probably would be enjoyed by young adults or those of you who are into sports, but it's open to anyone. And producers are James and Susan Cameron, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know why I can't say that. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jackie Khan. I can say that. Okay. So anyway, we want to ask you to come. And not only will we have a bag of popcorn for you, but you will also have a chance to win a $50 bill. Why? Because we really, really, really want you to come. Thank you.
Schwarzenegger and Jackie Chan. Something very quickly, the adults first, before we unleash the younger people on it. The K1 classroom, the first classroom to the right down the hall, has stuff in it that was left over from our rummage sale. And before we start hauling things off, we invite you to go in there. If you see anything you can use, take it home. A donation is always welcome, but it's not necessary. And after we do that for just a few weeks, then we'll let the kids have at it. And then we'll haul up stuff, okay? We're trying to get the room ready for use again. Let's see, next week is Building and Grounds. I think that's about it. Well, Volunteer of the Month, I didn't know if we were doing regular announcements. Volunteer of the Month is Kelly Coffey. She is down here working on the tech team. She works mightily at Building and Grounds days, and you will see her helping. But like this morning, she was the napkin provider. Susan put out some sort of a message that said we needed some, and she answered the call immediately. So bless her Bippy, and thank you for your service, Kelly. Okay. Catch a breath. Let the pew hold you up. This morning, the introduction or call to worship is taken from several individuals who approached the wondrous, the spirit of life, the holy mystery in ways that are quite different from one another. The first is Abhi Prakash Janamanchi. Aubrey is senior minister at Cedar Lane Unitarian Universalist Church in Bethesda, Maryland. A native of India, he's a member of the Brahmo Samaj, a Unitarian Hindu reform movement that shares many similarities with Unitarian Universalism. He says he resonates strongly with the central teachings of Islam, the oneness of God, or that invisible creative force that undergirds existence. He resonates with religious tolerance and human equality and showing compassion for the poor. This is what he said. The sacred is present and available to us wherever we look or are willing to find it. If we remain open and expectant, watching out of the corners of our eyes, keeping our ears cocked, putting away all preconceived ideas, our lives will emanate the sacred. The next piece is from John Shelby Spong, who was an American bishop of the Episcopal Church. He was a liberal Christian theologian, religion commentator, and author who called for a fundamental rethinking of Christian beliefs away from theism and traditional doctrines. This excerpt is from an interview on NBC's Dateline that was done in 2006. God is not a Christian. God is not a Jew or a Muslim or a Hindu or a Buddhist. All of those are human systems, which human beings have created to try to help us walk into the mystery of God. I honor my tradition. I walk through my tradition, but I don't believe my tradition defines God. I think it only points me to God. And this is from Gretchen Haley, who's one of the ministers at Foothills Unitarian Church in Fort Collins, Colorado. Today, God is running late, trying to find their seat, scanning the room for someone they know or someone they don't. God's feeling evangelical, but not in a judgy way. Mysterious, but not manipulative. God can't stop thinking about the James Webb Telescope and the possibility that time is not linear, which God might have guessed from the never-ending urgency of some upcoming election, and the likelihood that sometime next week Christmas candy will show up in the grocery store. God is tired of grief and white supremacy and the warming of the oceans, not to mention they didn't get any sleep last night. And why hasn't the ceiling in the breezeway been fixed yet? God wonders. And of course, we're all like, no kidding, God, can't you do something about that? But God's hearing aid batteries ran out, and they haven't had time to order more, or that's what they say when asked and can hear the question. But really, that last emergency room visit maxed their credit cards, and their partner's been working DoorDash for some extra cash. But it's just not enough. And really, God just wants to be present. Stop worrying about everything. Sing, breathe, laugh. We got you, God, we say. We'll settle in, and we'll be present, and we'll sing. We'll tell stories and breathe deep. We'll remember ourselves and offer whole galaxies of gratitude for all that is beautiful. The wisteria and crepe myrtles, for pear bread and protest letters, and entire villages of people saying, "You're safe here, God. Your creation is not yet done creating you. Come, let us worship together." No matter what words or understandings we have for that which is beyond us, we intentionally invite that essence into ourselves and our space. Would someone like to lead the first part of the chalice lighting? Anybody? Wonderful. Thank you.
We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian and Universalism.
This is the church of the open mind. This is the church of the helping hands. This is the church of the loving heart. Together, with mind, hands, and heart, we care for the earth and for each other. Thank you very much. Can you reach it? Thank you. We have not officially begun the school year, I don't think, in religious education, but the first study area in that religious education is generally for like 6 weeks, Unitarian Universalist history and identity. Today we start? Okay, it does start today. So I'm talking a good bit about that tradition and trying to encourage us to redevelop our universal translators, listen to language that might make us uncomfortable, and intentionally translate that into something useful for us. Okay. Unitarian, this is from Alex Jensen. Unitarian Universalists can and do believe many different things about life's biggest questions, about God, the greater mystery, about what happens to us when we die. Though you can't be a Unitarian Universalist if you don't agree about some of the more important parts of this faith. Have you ever heard that before? I had not heard that you can't be if you don't. Anyway, you can't be a UU, or at least, the qualification here, you won't be much of a good one if you cling to the prejudiced or oppressive views of others. If you in any way believe that someone else is somehow inferior or anything lesser than human. You can't be a UU if you can't tolerate big questions or critically examine what it is that you believe and why. You can't be a UU if you fundamentally believe there is only one path or one spiritual truth out there to make meaning of life and to understand it. If you cling to just one set of beliefs, dogmas, or creeds and shut out the possibilities and offerings of other traditions that are different from your own, you're not a Unitarian Universalist. As wide as our welcoming embrace is, there are some things that are non-negotiable for us as a people. Those non-negotiables are the inherent worth and dignity of each person, no matter who they are. The rigor of critical thinking about ourselves and our beliefs, and the bounty of the world's traditions that each hold a piece of the cosmic puzzle about how we might understand these wild, wondrous lives of ours. No, you can't be a Unitarian Universalist and believe anything you want. That was a rumor we used to hear all the time. That's the church where you can believe whatever you want to. You can believe in a lot of things, but there are some fundamental things that bring us and bind us together as a tradition and faith. My response to that is always, you're compelled to believe what your heart and spirit tells you is true, no matter whether that agrees with someone else's heart and spirit or not. Okay, so we have a responsive reading from Sophia Lyon-Foss, who was one of the very fundamental educators in this tradition all along. Okay? It matters what we believe. Some beliefs are like walled gardens. They encourage exclusiveness and the feeling of being especially privileged. Other beliefs are expansive and lead the way into wider and deeper sympathies. Some beliefs are like shadows, clouding children's days with fears and unknown calamities. Other beliefs are like sunshine, blessing children with the warmth of happiness. Some beliefs are divisive, separating the saved from the unsaved, friends from enemies. Other beliefs are bonds in a world community where sincere differences beautify the pattern. Some beliefs are like blinders, shutting off the power to choose one's own direction. Other beliefs are like gateways, opening wide vistas for exploration. Some beliefs weaken a person's selfhood. They blight the growth of resourcefulness. Other beliefs nurture self-confidence and enrich the feeling of personal worth. Some beliefs are rigid like the body of death, impotent in a changing world. Other beliefs are pliable, like the young sapling, ever growing with upward thrust of life. Would you please rise in body or spirit and say with us the unison affirmation? Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the sacred. Thus do we covenant with each other. Let's see, I have to find a key for y'all. How's that? This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Thank y'all. You stand here or there?
Yeah, I can stand. But the camera will go on you.
I was thinking here, but
Oh, you want me to stand there? Okay. Babies don't believe anything. Babies aren't born Buddhists or Baptists or believers of any sort. But soon after we arrive in the world, we start to gather ideas. We pick up beliefs and ideas about people and animals and families. We collect ideas about stars and comets and how it all got started. We accumulate beliefs about good and bad, right and wrong, what's healthy and unhealthy, and what is important in life. All of these beliefs, which we get from our parents and our playmates, from the TV and from Sunday religious education, go into our belief bag. Now, most religions define themselves by what they believe or by what's inside the bag. Christians, for instance, believe in Jesus. Muslims believe in Allah and in the Prophet Muhammad. Buddhists believe in the Four Noble Truths. But Unitarian Universalists don't just have one set of beliefs. What makes us different is the way that we Unitarian Universalists carry our beliefs, because there are different ways of holding your belief bag. For example, some people hold their bag like this. They clutch it close. They make sure the top is tightly sealed because they don't want their beliefs exposed to any new ideas that could threaten what's inside. They've got their world wrapped up in a nice, tidy, somewhat noisy little package, and because their bag is all closed up, we call these people closed-minded. On the other hand, some people are just the opposite. They don't pay much attention at all to what goes in their bag. One idea is as good as another, and if other folks believe it, or they read it on the internet, or heard it on a talk show, then it must be true. Because they carry their bag in such a sloppy manner, we call these people sloppy thinkers. And then there are people who carry their bags like this. Like a club they use to hit people. What's inside their bag may sound very nice and sweet. For instance, I believe in peace and kindness and the golden rule, but they use that bag like a weapon. You don't believe in peace? Why, you nasty person, shame on you. But none of those is the Unitarian Universalist way. Instead, we carry our bags like this. We carry them with the top open so that new ideas and experiences can get inside, and old beliefs can be tossed aside if needed. We carry our bags in front of us so that we can see and examine what goes in to be sure that it makes sense and fits with other things we know. And also so that we can see what our neighbors think and share our thoughts with others. Above all, we never use our beliefs to beat up or bully other people. That's what it means to be a Unitarian Universalist. The next time somebody asks you, what do the people in your church believe, you can tell them, for Unitarian Universalists, it's less important what you believe than how you hold your beliefs. It's how you acquire them or come to believe those beliefs and how you share them, and above all, what you do with them that counts. Thank you.
Since we've done this song,
I can work for peace and justice to make it more than a dream. If every day I do what I can to live respectfully, I can work for peace and justice. It's easier than it might seem to change this world one step at a time till everyone's happy and free. If I come to the tables where freedom speaks, there I must remember my one life has shaped my whole understanding in a world full of difference. The work of peace is listening deeply enough to your truth to hear our common dreams. If I can work for peace and justice to make it more than a dream, there I must remember every day I do what I can to live respect my whole understanding in a world. I can work for peace and justice. It's easy children and youth for some Lego values today. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
I know I have a lot of readings this morning, and I'll kind of get to why that is when I get a little bit further into the service. But this one is from Kate Landis. I don't know why we are born or what happens when we die. I don't know why depression exists or why unfettered greed was allowed to take away the livelihood of millions during the Great Depression. I do know that we have a choice. Believe in a God who is ultimately powerful or ultimately loving. Anyway, anyone who has loved a person with depression knows that we can't have both. A God who loved us and controlled everything would not allow depression to exist. Or childhood cancers, or earthquakes, or hangnails. Definitely not mosquitoes. God is either our dear partner in our struggles or the reason for those struggles. For me, God, whom I prefer to call Goddess or love, just to disrupt the male God dominance we have faced for 8,000 years, isn't a creature or a supernatural person. God isn't Mr. Rogers or Santa Claus in the sky, but if God did have to be a man, Mr. Rogers would be a great choice. God is a force, a push to do what is loving. God is the voice that urges us to forgive. God is a piece of every living creature, the best piece, the part that connects us, the part that makes us brave enough to embrace each other. God is always cheering on anyone struggling, anyone who feels hopeless. God is my ancestors whispering, hang in there. You are stronger than you know. It only gets better ahead. They're whispering in my ear when I think the depression will never end. It's unlikely that we will have any definitive answers about the nature of the ultimate in this lifetime. As my grandma Wilma always said, I sure have a lot of questions for God. Maybe we won't even get the answers after we die. But I choose to believe in a God who makes me kinder, because no one knows for sure who or what that is. So why choose a bully keeping accounts of every sin? I choose the God of compassion, who sits beside me when I weep and pushes me to comfort the troubled. The next reading is from Maureen Kaloran. It does not include the word God like so many have so far today. With whom do you believe your lot is cast? From where does your strength come? That quote is from Adrian Rich. Ethical question, although this really happened. You're in a local grocery store. An elderly, poorly dressed white lady is pushing a cart, moving with obvious difficulty as she adds to her hoard of first one item and then another. She finishes, then proceeds slowly not to the checkout, but to the exit, where two security guards are chatting. The woman pauses, waits for perhaps 30 seconds under the guards' noses. It is as though she is invisible to everyone but you. For no one even blinks as she moves through the door, pushing the cart and its stash of unpaid-for goods to her waiting car. What would you do? How would you balance respect for the elderly, like honor your father or mother, with the issue of theft, thou shalt not steal? How about individual need versus corporate greed? What about assigned responsibility, the security guards, versus your own right to privacy, mind your own business? What about your potential embarrassment? Like what if she's the manager's daughtery aunt and they reclaim the goods each night? Or her potential shame, an old lady hauled off to jail? On the other hand, are some people more equal than others? What would you have done if the thief had been a body-pierced teen, or a person of color, or a white man in dirty overalls? What would you do? What would you not do? And what difference does it make? Source of hope, love, and challenge, help me sort through the complexity of our days. I long to live on the side of love. Help me not to turn away. Oh, how we long for a day when every single American would rise up and say, enough is enough. We must end violence. We must move past greed. We must care for one another and the earth. Oh, how we wait. Waiting can be discouraging, can be demoralizing, can bring despair, paralysis, denial, a turning off. Waiting can feel passive. But I think in this season of returning, we're called to wait differently. We are called to active, hopeful waiting. so many songs about rainbows and what's on the other side. Rainbows are visions, but only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on a morning star? Somebody thought of that, and someone believed them, and look what it's done so far. It's so amazing, that keeps us stargazing. What do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us under its spell. We know that it's probably magic. Have you been half asleep? And have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Are these the sweet sounds that call the young sailors? The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Da, 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 dum, da, da, dum, da, 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 dum, dum. If you will, bring your awareness to right where you're sitting. Check in with how you're feeling inside. And then I'd like you to see if you can actually feel the energy around you, the energy in the room. I was recently in a meeting with people from different walks of life and different faiths. The meeting began with a reading that was titled, Willing to Believe. I'm not sure how focused I was on the reading after hearing the title. I floated away thinking about my personal experiences and what I have come to believe. Part of the program and group of people I was with talks about HOW, how, honest, open, and willing. Pieces of a puzzle that help us remain humble, help us remain available to something that I think is really important for the perpetuation of the species and development of our personal spiritual lives. After I got the title, then I remembered that I have heard some of you share that you're not sure you believe anymore in the expression that Theodore Parker and Dr. King shared about the arc of the moral universe bending towards justice. When it was my turn in the meeting to share, I acknowledged that having done more than my share of mind-altering substances in my life, my experiences may not be trustworthy, but they are nonetheless my experiences. They are what informs my perspective and my way of thinking and feeling. And there was even one point when I tried to jettison all of that and start over, and I couldn't make some things go away. They were too deeply rooted. Then I went on to talk about the energy that if I stop and think about it and am intentional about it, I can feel right here. It's like just on the other side of something. It's not as though I'm a permeable membrane and it can come in and out of me. Although I can do some exercises to invite that in, but it's something that almost defies three-dimensional reality because it's not standing between you and I, you and me. But it's there. I don't know how many of you felt something when I asked you to try to sense the energy in the room. Anything, something, felt something. Okay? That's great. A lot of people don't. Thank you for sharing that. I'm the only one that was looking. That energy isn't a small thing to me. It's not something inconsequential in my life. And it's when I stop and notice that I'm brought back to a mindset that carries me out of my pettiness, whatever might have me worked up. It's hard to find those things these days. I sometimes call the more profound sense of that energy the carrot on the stick that leads me on, draws me deeper or farther down my spiritual journey. The only thing it requires of me is openness and a willingness to recognize I cannot know or define or prove anything about that other than, for me, it is and it's important. It affects how I feel. It affects how I interact with other people. I am comfortable thinking about that as something that participates with the source and spirit of love and life and existence. Me personally. And I puzzle over things like that sometimes. But mostly it serves me best when I don't try to solve that puzzle, but allow it, am willing to accept or believe that yes, it has value. Yes, I can just try to hold it in my life or allow it in my life as often as possible. I know this is not all of your experience. I really wanted to share a whole sermon by a woman named Marilyn Sewell this morning, read the whole thing, but they have 20-minute sermons. And I try to limit mine to 10 or less. But Marilyn grew up in North Louisiana, and she was the senior pastor at First Unitary in Portland, Oregon for 16 years till she retired. She was very well respected in the denomination, still is. And this particular sermon, I think you would enjoy reading if you want to go to the UUA.org website and look it up. It was called Reimagining the American Dream by Marilyn Sewell. I am going to share part of it. You and I belong to a group of people that Paul Ray and Sherry Anderson refer to as the cultural creatives, a growing segment of the U.S. population, already over 25, who embrace a new culture that values diversity, stewardship of the environment, economic justice, and civil rights for all. They say that roughly half this number combine these beliefs with some form of spiritual practice. They call these people the core cultural creatives. It is from these folks like you and me, folks that populate Unitarian Universalist churches, or have at some point, that the new story, the new cultural narrative will emerge. I'm not sure of the exact words you will choose or how you will put them together with your story, but some of those words might be love, service, kindness, joy, presence, peace, integrity, stewardship, covenant. These are religious concepts, and this is the beloved community that we are building. I was intrigued by these words of an East German dissident, Rudolf Borrow. He said, when the forms of an old culture are dying, the new culture is created by a few people who are not afraid to be insecure. I started thinking about us as Unitarian Universalists. This is who we are. We're not afraid to be insecure. We are not afraid to search and go deeper, to find the truth, even when the truth is unpalatable. We are seekers who want to live out the truth, not some kind of made-up world that might be more momentarily comfortable to live in. Unitarian Universalists, though small in number, can be the yeast in the loaf. Let us, however, be wary of the usual distractions and follies of our movement. It's grown-up time now. We no longer have time for petty quarrels about religious language. No time for conflict between the humanists and the more spiritually inclined. I lost my place. The mission of the church is not about meeting our needs. The mission of the church is about healing our world. It's about giving ourselves to something larger than ourselves. Ironically, when we give ourselves in this way, we find that our deepest needs will, in fact, be met. Deepest needs. The idealism that caused John Winthrop to say that we have a special destiny, and that destiny is to be a city upon the hill, talking about this country that we live in, is not dead in this country. I see it in certain young people who are quietly living in a way respectful of our earth. I see it in many creative people who have a vision way beyond the popular mind. I know that wherever the human spirit is willing to join with that larger spirit, that new dreams can be dreamed and whole nations can be moved. Whoever thought the Berlin Wall would come crashing down? Some of us are old enough to remember that. But when the time was right, it came down. Whoever thought that Nelson Mandela would get out of prison 28 years into his sentence and lead his nation, but in time it happened. I grew up in North Louisiana in the 1950s in a small, totally segregated town. I literally never saw a black man in a dress shirt. Who would have guessed that I would see an African American president in my lifetime? An African American president with a cabinet replete with women and people of color. The time is ripe now for a great turning once again. I am convinced that what is life-denying, what is repressive and false, will be known as such, and people who are basically good will follow a new way. Let us be some of those who step out and lead, who dare to once again be the light that blesses the world. Are we willing to believe, to hold the conviction that we are on the verge of a great turning? It matters what we believe. Thank you. Now I want you to sing with me, Rainbow Connection. I'll put it in your key, or closer to your key. It's a beautiful dream. It's a metaphor for things that I absolutely believe have value and truth in them. So if you will, rise in body or spirit. Vision I did not include Tom Shade's name in the credits, but he was a speaker at our summer institute one time. There is a power at work in the universe, and it works through the human hands, but it's not made by human hands. It's creative, sustaining, transforming power, and we can trust that power with our lives. When we are honest, this is parenthetical, when we are honest, open, and willing to let ourselves believe there is good, it will sustain us. It will sustain us whenever we stand on the side of love, whenever we take a stand for peace and justice, whenever we take a risk. Trust in that power. We are together held by that power. This is from Alex Hayter Winnett. Whatever words or names we use to describe it, God is not a distant force far away. God is in the beating of our hearts and the backbeat of a funky bass line. God is in a four-on-the-floor drum fill that makes us think, I'm so glad I woke up today. God is in the achy joints and sore muscles the day after. God is visible in the steam coming off of sweaty bodies that danced and celebrated together at a rock show. Let us be open to new and surprising ways the divine, the sacred, moves through our lives. Let us worship in places usual and unusual. Let our bodies move as they may, animated by the loving force that unites all. May we be washed in tears, sweat, and rain and brought into a new world of freedom. Let the hymns we sing be both ancient and new. And may we find ways to regain our humanity through enjoying life together. Go in peace. Go in confidence, knowing there is more, and we're a part of bringing it to fruition. Amen.
My soul cries out with a joyful shout that the God of my heart is great, and my spirit sings of the wondrous things that you bring to the ones who wait. You fixed your sight on your servant's plight, and my weakness you did not spurn. So from east to west shall my name be blessed, and the world be about to turn. My heart shall sing of the day you bring, that the fires of your justice burn. Wipe away all tears, for the dawn draws near, and the world is about to turn. Though I am small, my God, my all, you worked great things in me, and your mercy will last from the depths of the past to the end of the age to be. Your very name puts a proud to shame, and for those who before you yearn, you will show your might, put the strong to flight, for the world is about to turn. My heart shall sing of the day you bring, let the fires of your justice burn. Wipe away all tears, for the dawn draws near, and the world is about to turn.
From the halls of power to the fortress tower, not a stone will be left on stone. Let the king beware, for your justice tears every tyrant from his throne. The hungry poor shall reap no more for the food they can never earn. There are tables spread, every mouth be fed, for the world is about to turn. My heart shall sing of the day you bring, let the fires of your justice burn. Wipe away all tears,
and the world is about to turn. Though the nations rage from age to age, we remember who holds us fast. God's mercy must deliver us from the conqueror's rushing grasp. This saving word that our forebears heard is the promise which holds us bound. Till the spear and rod can be crushed by God, who is turning the world around. My heart shall sing of the day you bring, let the fires of your justice burn. Wipe away all tears for the dawn.